I just got back from my vacation in Sydney, Australia, and thought I would share some of the pickups that I got while I was there.
Welcome back, sir. All systems for gaming will be prepared in a few minutes. For now, feel free to grab a cup of coffee and have a good day.
Hey everyone, Mike here. Welcome back to the Marvel Man Cave. And as I mentioned, I went on vacation with my wife to Sydney, Australia. She was running the Sydney Marathon down there. Big congratulations to her, her 7th star. If you're a runner, you might know what that means, but they have the Abbott World Majors. She'd already done 6 stars. This was the first year. The Sydney Marathon was considered a world major, and she did it, got into the lottery. So we use running as an excuse a lot of times to travel to different places. But while I was there, I decided, you know what? I want to check out a few of the shops and stuff like that that they have down there and see what movies and things like that that they might have. And I'm going to put some footage in here because we did visit a CEX on one of the days there. They don't have CEXs here in the US. So, and it's really seemed from a lot of the videos that I've seen, kind of, I would say, not really. I'm trying to think of the equivalent of here in the US. GameStop might be a version because I know you can sell games and stuff like that there, but none of the GameStops I've ever been to sell movies, and I can't really think of a direct equivalent from the UK or Australia in this case to the US where there's basically a used movie shop that is a large retail chain. So definitely visited one of those, and you're going to watch the footage here now. So our first day in Sydney, time before we could check into our hotel, and I had already looked up that there was a CEX kind of in a mall in the area, so we decided to go ahead and check it out. When I walked in, I was very surprised to see they have Disney Infinity. Now, if you've seen any of my other videos, you know I do collect some Disney Infinity, so I immediately stopped to check these out. I actually ended up picking up one. I picked up, you kind of can't see him in this video, but in the bottom first row towards the back, right in front of Ultron, is Randall from Monsters Inc. So I got him. I thought about picking up one of the Captain Americas to be a duplicate because I've been displaying them somewhere else, but I passed on that one. But this is really what you came here to see, was the 4K and Blu-ray selection. Now, this is my first experience with the CEX, and we don't really have, like I said, equivalent in the US to these, so I was really just kind of checking out what they had no real expectations going in. Obviously you can see they had the Batman 10 film anniversary edition, along with obviously the Godzilla vs. Kong 5 film, which I did consider, but I have steelbooks of almost all of those, so did not end up picking that one up. You can see I don't know if I pick up the Crocodile Dundee, but they had the encore cut there. Mad Max is one that I was going in looking for, and you can see me initially pick up that 5 film collection, and then I picked up this because they had that one as well, because I already had Fury Road and Furiosa. I was still kind of holding out hope that they might have the original 3 just by themselves. And then these were all the Blu-rays that they had. I didn't really see too much that I was really interested in terms of Blu-rays. They did have that used set of The Crown, which was a consideration when I was looking stuff up, but they also had this Band of Brothers set. I don't know what the equivalent is off the top of my head because this is 32 Australian dollars, but I can tell you that the Mad Max set was 80 Australian and about 56 US, so whatever that conversion is. That was, I think, the Imprint film series of Bewitched, which I thought was really cool to see in one of these stores, but not really something I was super interested in. And then this is me just kind of checking out the rest of the store. They had obviously a lot of game stuff. That's why I kind of compare it to GameStop here in the US, because they had a lot of games. But then back in this back corner, they had DVDs. Like, I really wasn't thinking about getting any DVDs for the most part, but I'm always on the lookout for a couple. The movie Airborne on DVD that doesn't come on Blu-ray, and Other People's Money, a Danny DeVito movie, is another one that I was kind of interested in picking up. So, but they didn't have either of those that I went and looked. So I went back to kind of check out the Blu-ray section to just kind of see what they had. Just again checking out what was available in the store. Again, I wasn't sure about picking up Blu-rays, being that this was Australia, and I wasn't sure if they would actually play here in the U.S. And I thought about it. I thought about this Star Wars set. I have the original trilogy and most of the other movies. I thought about picking up all as one, but again, it was just that hesitation that I wasn't totally sure if they were going to be region locked, and then I would get them home and find out that they wouldn't play. I didn't see some of them. I did see the region A, B, and C, so I knew they would play, but not enough to have enough confidence to know for sure that hey, I'm going to buy this. I'm actually be able to watch it, kind of thing. And stuff like this, Terminator Genesis. It was the Steelbook. I did consider getting it just because the Steelbook, and I was like, oh, if I can get this kind of cheap, maybe I'll pick it up. But again, that's one I did not for. Decided to pass on it. Don't really regret it, but it was just kind of cool to be in the store and kind of check it out because I've seen it in so many other YouTubers' videos that are over in the UK. To finally get to kind of check out a CEX and just kind of see what it was all about and see what the deal was. So that was my visit to CEX, and I did actually pick up one. You might have seen me pick it up, but I got the Mad Max, a whole 5-film trilogy, not 5-film trilogy, the 5-film set. This was the one that I would say when I was getting ready to go to Australia that I was like, this is one I would pick up. It was just one of those. I already have Furiosa and Fury Road. I actually hadn't watched the first 3 movies in the series for a very long time. So I was able to watch them. I downloaded them to my iPad and watched all 3 of those on my way there just to confirm that they'd be movies that I really want to watch again. And they definitely were. They're definitely very entertaining. I would say The Road Warrior is probably my favorite movie out of the whole series, followed by Fury Road. And I'm apparently doing a ranking now that I didn't really intend to. I would say maybe the original Mad Max, somewhere after that, Furiosa, and then I would definitely put Beyond Thunderdome as the last one. Beyond Thunderdome, I was a little confused at one point in that one, but these are the cards that you get with it. I'm sure people have seen this because this box set is not necessarily new with these. You got Immortan Joe, who I found out later was played by the same actor that played Toe Cutter from the original Mad Max. You got the War Boys, Teddy Bear, Victorian Jack. I be honest, I was surprised that they didn't at least do something with Max in this set. Maybe I didn't get all the cards. I don't know. It's a used set, so I don't know. But this is the set. I thought this was really nice. I had looked at this a while when it first became available. Kept my receipt for CX, and just so I think I took the price off, but I paid 80 Australian dollars for this one, which I think was the equivalent of like $56 US. I think that's what my credit card exchanged it at. But this is the way the set looks. I thought this was really cool. Obviously, different set pieces from each of the movies. Let me go in order. And all the discs are there. Although I have not tried the one, I think it's for Fury Road. The disc looks different than the other ones. It looks like that. So I'm not really sure if that's legit. I'm actually gonna test it. But again, I already own Fury Road. In fact, it's probably somewhere back here. I'll edit this out. I already own Fury Road on 4K, so if the disc doesn't work, I can just replace it with the one I already own. And if I can't, I will sell that and sell Furiosa on and get a little bit of my money back for that. But yeah, I thought this was a really cool set. Again, when I went to Australia, I even told my wife, I was like, if there's one set of movies that I would like to buy while I'm in Australia, I would say it was the original Mad Max films. And I thought I may be able to find them individually, but when I saw the set, especially for $50, I was like, all right, that's like $10 per movie. I was like, yeah, I own the last 2 in the set, but I was like, I could sell those on and probably get at least $10 back for each of those 2, and then I'll basically just pay $30 and $10 for 4Ks for the original Mad Max. I don't say it's such a bad deal. Another store we went to and I looked up, I did not know going in, is Australia has a store that I would say is their Best Buy equivalent, but it's called JB Hi-Fi. And I'll show you a little bit of the video. You can see that video now, as they have like a bunch of different stuff. Like it's literally probably the equivalent of a Best Buy, but they still have a pretty large movie collection. They have a whole wall of new releases and 4Ks, and then they have literally an entire section in the store dedicated to Blu-rays. They have a very large section dedicated to TV shows. In fact, we saw the entire set of The Crown, which I don't believe they released as a Blu-ray in any form here in the US, but they have the entire series run of The Crown on Blu-ray there. And I considered getting it because we can't get that here. But then I thought, I was like, my wife are never really going to watch that show again. We watched it when it came out. We really looked forward to seeing each episode and each season when they came out. But I really don't think we're ever going to watch it again. So I passed on that one, did not get it. But I did pick up a couple things while I was at JB Hi-Fi. On the first day, I picked up Zack Snyder's Justice League. I've been looking for this, and it was on my Amazon wish list for like a birthday and stuff like that, but I have never seen it in stores. I've looked at several of the used places that I have visited, like Disc Replay and Salvation Army and Goodwill, but I never see this version. I always see the Joss Whedon version of, and this is the logo, if anybody's curious, for the JB Hi-Fi. I kept the receipt. And so I decided to go ahead and get this on day one because, again, I didn't see it. They were having a sale. It was like buy two, get one free. But I couldn't really, at that point, and it was only on certain ones. So I couldn't find another one that I didn't own that was part of that set. There was other movies there that I wanted, including I picked up Godzilla Minus One. This was another one. I think it was on a birthday list or stuff like that, but I really wanted this one. This is one of those movies that just stuck with me after I watched it, and I really enjoyed this movie. I think this is one of the best Godzilla movies they've ever done, and I'm a sucker for Godzilla movies, and decided that I was like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and pick this up and add this one to the collection. So I ended up picking these two up on 2 different days, but I picked up Godzilla Minus One on day 2 because while I was down there, I kept thinking, I was like, you know what? Imprint Films is an Australian-based company, and they have a new movie coming out, and that movie was The NeverEnding Story. I love this movie. This movie harkens back to my childhood, and so it was one of those things. We went on, I think, the second day we were there, and I asked because I had it ordered on the movieroom.com, and I thought they said it was coming out on August 27th. So we went in, I was like, you know what, I'm going to take the chance to see if they have the Steelbook in store because it's an Australian company, so maybe they'll have it. And the guy said he wasn't sure. He seemed a little bit, he thought about it for a minute. I don't know if he was thinking about the big book version that they have, but he thought about it for a minute. He was like, no, he's like, I think that comes out next week. So then I looked on the JB Hi-Fi site, and it said it was coming out September 3rd. So then I decided to go ahead and go back that day. Here's all the special features and everything you get. So you get the original US theatrical cut on 4K, and then disc 2 is the original US theatrical cut on Blu-ray. That might not play here in the US, but the 4K will. And then disc 3 is the German extended cut on Blu-ray, which I'm hoping will play because I don't think I've ever seen the extended cut. All the times I've watched this movie, I have never knowingly seen the extended cut of The NeverEnding Story. So it's on 4K. You get Dolby Vision, DTS HD, all the stuff, Via Vision, which I think is like maybe the parent company. You also get a few special features, which they're on the Blu-ray. I'll report back on my post on here on Twitter or Blue Sky, all the places if the Blu-rays play. But I really wanted this set, and I thought it was gorgeous. The book is absolutely stunning. I'll give it to you. I'm jealous every time I see it in the background of someone's video, but I don't have space for that. As much as I want it, it would really just be a display piece, and I don't think I would get that much out of it. So I was like, you know what? The Steelbook version, I was more than happy for. So it comes in this nice slip box, the front and back art, and I would say this is a nice thick cardboard. It feels premium for it as well. And then this is the Steelbook, which it's got a nice, I'm a sucker for matte anything. Like, I love matte paint. It's the side. So this is real nice finishing to it. And then here's the interior for it. And it was real nice. You know, again, I had this on order at the movieroom.com. First time I'd ever ordered from there. But it was something that just, you can't match being able to walk into a store and pick something up. And I'm struggling to get this out a little bit. You just can't beat walking in the store and picking something up. Probably the most heartbreaking scene in the movie. They decided to put on the interior art. Guess it's better there than putting it on the front, right? It all ends happily anyway. But yeah, I was really excited about this, and obviously I'll show you the disc art for that one. Disc art for that one. So that's the original US theatrical cut, and this is the 4K, same as the front cover. So I was really happy to get this. Again, being able to walk into a store, and when I got in on the 3rd and asked about it, and again I was getting Godzilla Minus One that day too, and asked, they did not have it on the new release wall, and I got a little worried. But again, I already had it on order, so I knew I was going to get it. But I went up to the counter and asked the girl if they got it in, and almost immediately I saw it was sitting behind her on the shelf. And they had several copies. I would say, if I had to guess, I didn't say how deep it was, but I would say they probably had 10 copies in stock. She pulled it off the shelf. She's like, yeah, we've had this in for a few days. So I don't know if their release day there was a little bit different. Again, I went on a Wednesday, which I know new release day is usually on Tuesday, but I went on a Wednesday. Was very fortunate that they still had this in stock. Very, very excited. So pick this up along with, just a few random movies of Zack Snyder, Godzilla Minus One, and then picked up Mad Max. And this will be one that I'll keep because it's basically a souvenir from Australia. I got the Mad Max movies. Seems fitting to pick up from Sydney, Australia. Pick this up because it's from Imprint Films from Sydney, Australia. I'm very excited about both of these and the other movies that I picked up. If you made it this far, please consider giving this video a thumbs up. And odds are you're a new subscriber here, so please consider giving this channel a subscription. It doesn't cost anything for you, but it really helps out the channel. And next week, I'm going to start doing some giveaways on some videos because we've already surpassed 300 subscribers. And as I mentioned in earlier videos, I have a bunch of digital codes for movies that I don't really need anymore, so I figured I would give some of those away to you guys as a big thank you. But that's all I got for today. As always, collect what you love.